that Maui style with you. Cause if you ain't Maui styling, you just living on an island. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 There is sunshine in your heart. It's been with you from the start. Lift your head, look to the heavens, then you will feel brand new again. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Reach out your hand and help each other. Your mother, your father, your sister and brother. There is love in this family. Pick yourself up and get on your feet. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Makena styling, up country styling, Campo styling, Kahanapali styling, Hana styling, Waiahu styling, Bahia styling, Keanai styling. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Maui styling, Maui styling, Maui styling. Don't stop me now, Maui styling.
Aloha! Welcome to another Mama Presents. You know, this is a little unusual. We at the Maui Arts and Music Association are mostly on Maui, but this week I've been at Nouveau Riche University in Phoenix, Arizona, learning about real estate. Not only about real estate a little bit, but real estate a lot. This is a real estate university that teaches by subject, and probably the greatest and most respected and loved of its instructors is Mark Kohler.
Hello, thank you for that nice welcome.
Mark Kohler here is really much like a rock star. You know, it's really funny but true. Nouveau Riche doesn't have very celebrated instructors. What they have is instructors who do what they teach. And Mark is a very humble man, but he's a CPA and real estate attorney and also investor. And most recently, the author of this book, which is called Lawyers Are Liars. There's a very small question mark because it's really the truth about our assets and asset protection. But I'll let Mark tell you all about it. Mark, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honor to be with you and to be on your show, and hopefully this will be a very rewarding opportunity for you to learn some incredible information in just this time we spend together, and I hope it's a great resource.
Well, I know it is. You know, there are people out here, many of them, who already know you that have been listening on the radio. You were on our radio show twice already, talking about asset protection, but you also shared with us, and we learned a lot about, well, I guess we should begin. What is the motivation that had you write this book?
Well, my motivation for this book and the opportunity to talk about asset protection, of course, it's a very shocking title, Lawyers Are Liars. Realize that it's not an accusation or an affirmation, it's a discussion point. I want to talk about the truth in asset protection. And a lot of people out there call lawyers liars in order to sell them scams and garbage you really don't need. So I'm actually feel very strongly there's a lot of wonderful lawyers out there that are doing a great job. It's just trying to find them and trying to find out what doesn't work and what actually does. So my motivation to write the book was to share the truth. I'm just sick and tired of my clients and my law practice and accounting firm getting ripped off. They just, there's so many scams out there. And so I was very anxious to do a book that talked about asset protection and the truth about asset protection, and chose a shocking enough title that people like you might want to listen. So,
When you say scams, you don't mean business scams. You mean scams as far as setting up of entities for protection?
yes, that's a great question. When I mean scams, a lot of the coaches and business consultants, lawyers at times, CPAs, financial planners, the majority of them are very much interested in helping their clients make the right decision. But there's those minority, those small group of people on the fringes that actually use half-truths and scare tactics to sell people into structures for their asset protection. It may be a certain corporation in Nevada. It might be a land trust structure or a certain type of offshore planning or something where they want to take advantage of their potential clients and sell them something that really doesn't work. And to me, that's a scam because it's something based on half-truths and lies that hurts people rather than helps them. So that's kind of what I mean by the word scam. Great question.
Okay. Well, if you'd be so kind to share with our audience, let's now say that I'm a new investor and I'm going to be buying property. By the way, I know a lot of these answers, but I'm asking them anyway.
Yeah, no problem. That's a great question.
You know, after taking your classes, I really feel like I've learned so much. People ask me, and they're now coming to me as a resource, and I say, no. You got to go to school and, learn it from Mark and really digest it yourself. But, the fact that I've been able to come and be through your classes a couple of times, it's really sunk in. But now let's just talk. Here I am, a new investor, and I'm buying a property, not my home, but an investment property. And I'm thinking of buying it and keeping it for a few years. Let's say we're in our kind of challenged real estate climate now, where if you're thinking to get a quick gain, you might not get that. So you're buying and holding it for a couple of years. How might someone approach that?
Well, that's a great question, and it's a great basic starting point. And please know, when it comes to asset protection, it doesn't mean you always have to be investing in real estate. You may just own a home and other things, and we can certainly talk about those topics as well. For those that are interested in buying investment property, one of the first things that's most important is to get some sort of layer of protection between you and the tenant. Because if you're going to play landlord and you're going to have tenants in a property, who knows what's going to go wrong? They could get hurt on the property, they could have a party and someone else gets hurt, and who knows? So we want to make sure that there's some sort of company or entity that's between you and the tenant. And that's where, for a typical rental property, we would use the limited liability company, or LLC. It's not really there for tax planning. You're going to get all the great tax write-offs you would, whether you have a company or not. But the purpose of the LLC is to protect you so that when you set up the company, it's going to hold the asset. It's going to hold the rental property, and then it will rent the property to the tenant. If something goes wrong, you're not personally liable. Now, you need to act like a good landlord. You can't be a slumlord and not repair things and fix things and respond to complaints. But for the most part, when you serve as a proper manager of the property, if something goes wrong, they can't touch you. They can only go after the property. And for some of you that have other assets, like cars and personal property and your own home and other investments, you don't want to lose those investments if a tenant comes after you. So we want to make sure that you have a limited liability company between you and the tenant. And that's probably the first starting point for an investor. So in that situation, typically it's quite straightforward, very affordable. And once it's set up, you just maintain it and can provide thousands and thousands of dollars of protection down the road.
And an LLC doesn't only have to be a single party, you can have partners in that LLC.
Yeah, and an
right?
LLC is a great thing to use when you have partners. You and I might decide to partner up on a project, We want to make sure that we have a limited liability company to protect me from you, and to protect you from me, and to protect both of us from the tenant. So the LLC can be a great structure to provide protection in several different directions. Very important.
Now, without getting into too much detail, if on the other hand we were buying an investment and planning on turning it in a short time, we might choose another entity
That's
to
right.
be our entity of choice because of the tax advantages. So an LLC is for protection against if someone were to sue us or another, that we are, what do I want to call it, restricting the
Liability.
thing they can take, the liability, to that asset that's inside the LLC, right?
Absolutely. And you know, if you and I were going to do a short-term project, maybe we were going to do a little bit of development or pick up an asset and flip it or turn it quickly, then we have tax considerations. You know, we don't want to pay too much in taxes. We also want protection, but also tax savings. And so we would probably talk about using an S corporation somewhere in the mix. Now, we may not set up an S corporation for each project. I may already have my S corporation, you may have yours, but we want to structure it. And like you said, there's a lot of details here. But the important thing is if you're going to be doing business, maybe you're a contractor, a landscaper, maybe you do hair and nails, maybe you're a consultant, you sell services or products or something on eBay. Maybe you're going to buy real estate and fix it up and sell it. Maybe you're going to buy real estate and rent it and keep it. Well, in any of those instances, it's important to choose the right structure. Which corporation am I going to set up? Limited liability company, LLC, LP, FLP, all these different alphabet soups. I know it can be confusing. The important thing is to start somewhere, get a little bit of advice that can help point you in the right direction. Find the right attorney, the right consultant to help you. This is what this book is about. Lawyers Are Liars. The truth about protecting our assets is it gives you at least a starting point to help you find the right structure you might need.
Well, you know, you did this, there must have been some burning passion. Why don't you share, I want to say your favorite scams, the ones that you think are the ones that people are hearing about a lot and you'd like to showcase a little bit here.
You bet. Probably the greatest scam, I'm just going to call it that I would caution all of you to watch out for is the Nevada Corporation sales pitch. You know, you'll hear this on satellite radio or AM radio where you need to set up a Nevada corporation because all of the Fortune 500 companies are. And you might go set up this company back on the States when really you're doing business in Hawaii. To me, that should not make sense to you, and it doesn't make sense to me on why I'd go set up a company somewhere on the mainland when I live and do business in Hawaii. But you hear that sales pitch, don't you? And it's too bad, it's regrettable, because really it doesn't provide you much protection at all to go set up some company back in Delaware or Nevada or Wyoming or something like that. Make sure you consult with your attorney about setting up a company in this jurisdiction, Maui, Oahu, somewhere in the islands, because that's where you're doing business. It's very important to set up the company where you're doing business. And then heaven forbid, they talk you to doing a C corporation, which is a lot of times what coaches or consultants that don't know what they're talking about will do. They'll recommend a C corporation, which creates double taxation. It creates very strict guidelines and not very much flexibility. So be careful out there. Make sure you talk with your accountant and that you're very cautious about what type of entity you set up for your business. So watch out for Nevada corporations. Watch out for the C corporation. Doesn't mean you might use them. You might someday. But for the most of us, 99% of the business owners, there's no need to co-incorporate in Nevada or Delaware, and there's no need for a C corporation for, again, the majority of us small business owners.
Doesn't he give good answers?
Thanks for having me. This is such an honor for me, for you listening on TV and watching, because there is so much misinformation out there. And I'm sure many of you are listening to this going, wow, this guy sounds like he really does care. And I'm trying to convey to you that I really do. I just want people to find the straight answer for their small business. It's hard to run a small business. I know many of you struggle to pay the bills every month and create sales and income, and it's tough. And when some lawyer gets a hold of you or some consultant or coach and points you in the right direction, in the wrong direction, it can actually steer you away from what you're trying to do, and that's provide for your family. So be careful out there. Please continue to listen here for a few minutes, and hopefully we can help point you in the right direction and save you some money and some heartache.
You know, before I go too far, I was just thinking, I remember you were sharing that you actually spent some time in Hawaii.
Yes.
Why don't you share with us? I mean, you're a local like many of us.
I am a local, maybe, if you'll have me. Actually, I lived in Oahu and went to BYU Hawaii for a year or more, and I was a canoe boy over at the Polynesian Cultural Center. So I pushed some canoes and ran around in my lava every day and flohos, and I just had a great time. I got to love the culture so much. I just love the Pacific Islands, Polynesia. That's so special to me in my heart, and I love to come visit as much as I can. I love to be on your radio show, the TV show. Come visit. I wish I was doing this live.
We'll set that up.
Yeah, we'll set that up. So I love to get out and try to get on the longboard once in a while and bring my kids over. They went to my kids came over to camp last year at the YMCA camp out on the North Shore of Oahu, Camp Erdman. So some of you might be familiar with that. So I just love Hawaii and love the people and the culture. And if you'll have me, I'd love to be considered a local once in a while. But I lived here for a year and just loved it. It's a great experience.
We actually were thinking of setting up a campus in Maui. See what you think. But meanwhile, it's really been a lot of fun to come here and visit Phoenix. So, you know, I used to think Phoenix was always brutally hot, but I've actually been cold this week.
Well, it's
the
February.
Temperature really.
Yeah.
So the desert has all kinds of climates you'll discover.
Yes, that's true.
Now, this is not a thin book. I mean, I'm looking through. I've had a couple of attorney friends who've looked at this, and there's a lot of information here, and it's really easy to read and comfortable. A few of them said was sort of like a reference book. You must have put a lot of research in here, a lot of detail.
Oh, thanks for saying that.
And for really easy to understand.
Well, for you attorneys and CPAs out there, again, I don't want you to be offended by the book. I want it to be a resource. I am quoting from every asset protection guru in the country. Oceans, Schurig, Atkinson. There are all the experts in the country on asset protection. I tried to gather all their information and put it in one book that you can understand as well. I have all the footnotes here. This is where it's a great resource for you attorneys that might be watching this. I have over 270 footnotes. I have several tables and appendices in here that explain how LLCs and corporations and retirement plans might be treated from an asset protection standpoint in all 50 states. But you can understand it, and it's helpful. So I really, I put a lot of work into this, boy, months on end, trying to build this so that it's a huge resource for people, and I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot.
Oh, you're welcome. It's true. It's really been an interesting experience. When I go back to Hawaii and I'm sharing about Nouveau Riche, you know, people are hearing the name and they're wondering what it is. But I say the word Mark Kohler. It's amazing. People already are knowing you. Some of the students, you know, there's a young lady there named Sherry. And we asked Sherry, what's your favorite class that you took in college? And she scratched her head and she said, I can't believe it. My favorite course was legal and tax strategy. Most people are amazed that they could have a day or 2 days, in fact, with you to be able to learn that there's so much to learn. And it really, you make it comfortable and understandable.
Well, thanks. And you know, for many of you, it's something my fine clients are starving for. They want to know how to organize my business. How am I going to save taxes? And how do I run my books? And how do I deal with contracts and with negotiations with people? We want to know about it. It's just sometimes the people that teach it are just boring. And so if I can make it interesting and people just eat the information up, because it changes your life. And if you have a small business, you know that the money is made in the legal and tax issues. That's where the money's saved. And so for those that are ever able to hear me speak, please come out to a Nouveau Riche event. When Jason's going to have one, he'll let you know about it on his radio show or on the TV show. Please come out, and maybe it'll be an honor if I'm there. But all of the instructors at Nouveau Riche try to share the information in an exciting, interested, and in a truthful manner, so that you don't feel like you're getting sold something where you got to take a shower after. And that's, you know, I want you to, that felt good inside, and it made sense up here too. So please come out. If you ever hear this guy talking about an event, maybe I'll be the lucky one to come out and tell you about it.
Well, we all want you. It seems like everywhere in the country where they say, well, who do you want to have come out? Your name's up there at the top of the list.
Well, and let me say this too. If you have interest in the book or more information about me, please go to lawyersareliars.com. I know that sounds a little crazy that I'd send you a website like that, but go to lawyers, Lawyers, R-A-R-E, liars, Lars.com, lawyersareliars.com. There's links on how to get my book. I have a DVD. I have my links to my website for my personal information. Please come check it out, and you'll find out it's for real. I'm not trying to sell anything scary or scammy.
And what's also been interesting is, you know, you guys have offered webinars. You know what a webinar is, right? It's some kind of television show over the internet. You've had really good subjects. You and your associates, Matt Sorensen and Jim Park, have been on and really share so much information. It's really been a pleasure. And now I actually understand what you're talking about, which is really also exciting.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, we have on our website, from the link on Lawyers or Liars, you'll see KKOlawyers.com and MarkJKohler.com, and we have a newsletter every month. We have webinars every month that you can watch live and learn powerful information, and hopefully it'll be very helpful to you. I really hope that just these few minutes that we're having together can open a whole new world for you in your business, your family, your asset protection, your tax planning. It can really make a big difference.
Those words are, lots of words. It sounds legalese. I am trying to stay away from getting too much teaching here, but I just want to I'll throw a subject up. IRAs and retirement plans. Now, here at school, you have one day of IRA 1 and IRA 2 and advance this and advance that, but because there's a lot of detail to learn. But people can invest with their IRAs and self-direct them. And I guess always could, but many of us didn't know that. What kind of thing do you think would be a good starting point? I mean, you mentioned some of that here in this book, I know, but there's a lot more for people to know.
Yeah, in fact, my book is not going to focus too much on the tax strategies. That's up for book 2 or 3. But what Jason's alluding to that should hopefully be very, very helpful to many of you is that with your retirement plan, hopefully some of you have wanted to put money into an IRA or a 401k, and some of you think, I don't want to put money there because I'll never see it again. Maybe I'll retire someday, who knows? But the reality is when you find out that you can control your retirement plan in ways you never imagined, where you can self-direct your retirement plan. And what self-direct retirement plan means is that you can buy real estate inside your retirement plan, rental properties, you can buy you can enter into loans and all sorts of investments.
Get way more out of them than these conventional plans that are in, for example, mutual funds and things that are earning a very low rate of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think the point that we're trying to make here is that there's things you may not even know that sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and going out and investing in your retirement plan is a very, very powerful strategy. So I would encourage you to again look into some of this information that we're sharing and tap into this Nouveau Riche and everything it has to share with the people. It's growing so fast because it's for real. It's for real. And so investing in your retirement plan is just one of those topics that can change your life and help you live on residual income sooner.
I'm interested in that. How about all you guys? Probably so. We live on Maui and we're watching people come and go. Lots of visitors, but there are lots of people that are there that really can use that information, that really have never been exposed to this kind of stuff. And you do a great job. This is a really terrific book. I mean, I can't tell you how comfortable it is to read. It reads like you speak. Real easy to understand.
Thank you.
Really so. I'm sitting here. Maybe you can hear I'm a little bit hoarse. I'm going to bring my partner, Airielle, on and switch roles for a minute, because I'm sure she wants to say hello, and I would say, you'd rather have a kiss from her than...
Oh, that's okay. I might appreciate that. Here, I'll hold this here if we need
Let me
it.
just switch. Ready? Watch.
Airielle.
Excuse me, we just did a magic switch.
Hello, how are you?
Mwah.
You're so kind. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is our great pleasure. Are you kidding? You're always so kind and so humble.
Thank you so
And
much.
Thank you so much. You really don't know what a treat this is, because this man is so sought after. And he is actually our favorite teacher here at Nouveau Riche. Everybody wants to be in Mark's classes. And he teaches legal strategies one day and tax strategies the next day. And Mark, I never thought I would come home and say, I loved tax strategies.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. As many of you who are out there viewing our show and have listened to our other shows know that I'm not exactly a tax strategy and legal strategy kind of gal. However, Mark makes it so much fun. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
You have taught me so much and everybody in your classes so much. And it is just such an honor that you wrote this book and made it available to the world and for people who don't get to come and sit in your classes.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And
Yes.
I'm just hoping, what she's alluding to here, because it's flattering me way too much,
It is.
that for those that are watching here, there are a lot of opportunities out there to continue your education. I can't say enough about continuing to learn. It's important to think of areas that might help you in your family and in your business, and sometimes picking up a good book in the evening, coming out to an event. I know that Airielle will sponsor from time to time to have speakers come in and talk about ways to improve your financial future, ways to improve the way you teach your children how to work, ways to take control of your retirement, ways to protect your assets and save taxes. Those are all things that can really impact your life in a positive way. And I'm just grateful that I'm just one of those here. And so please make sure that you follow up with, I know, a lot of the information that Jason has to keep you informed of these educational events as they come through. And hopefully one of these days when you come out, I'll be there too, and be able to share some strategies that can change your life, I promise you.
Well, that's for sure. You've changed a lot of people's lives.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. We have many people that come here to Nouveau Riche, and they come into Mark's tax strategies class or his legal strategies class, and they say, oh my goodness, I just saved my whole tuition just by attending one class.
Oh, man.
So you really do help the world, and I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and Mark is an accountant and an attorney. What prompted you to do that? What prompted you to put those two things together to give to the world?
Well, great question. Well, when I was going to school, I was headed in the route of accounting. I felt I was always an entrepreneur. I loved small business. Many of you watching probably have a small business, and you love it. You feel like you're changing people's lives and making lives a little more happier for others. And many of you may have a small business on the side that you're kind of cultivating. And I always have loved that. But I think the language of business is accounting. You've got to understand the numbers. Where am I going to make money? Where am I going to lose money? What are my expenses? And so I thought accounting was an area that I really felt if I could understand accounting, my other personality strengths would complement that. Because I wasn't one of those nerdy accountant types, A student all the time. I was more of a B student, but I had fun in college and learned all I needed to know about accounting and taxes, so I have a lot to share. But when I was getting my accounting degree, I had a law professor that was teaching tax law. And I thought this was very interesting. I could be an accountant and do everything an accountant could do and more. And I wouldn't have to go to court and be a nasty divorce attorney. I could actually go and help people save money and fight the IRS if needed. So that's when I decided to go on to law school. So it was kind of start as an accountant and then decided to go on to law school after that. So I became a CPA first and then finished up law school. And now I'm a tax lawyer, I guess is what you say.
A tax lawyer who dances.
Yeah. Well, I get so excited. You want to bust a move when you're out having fun.
He does. You know, I've got to tell you folks, too, when he's teaching, he just gets so turned on by saving money and by a particular strategy that he does a little dance up front for us. So I wish I could get you up to do it, but I don't know if you do that on television.
No, maybe not. Maybe I got a live event. He's like thinking I'm too crazy on TV.
Yeah, you have to come to a live event to catch the dance.
That's right.
But I see, Mark, that you just really love to help people. You know, it's so obvious. So,
Oh, thank you.
you know, when you start doing your dance, it's pretty obvious that you're excited.
Yes. It is fun.
I love that story. I didn't know you were accountant first.
Yeah. So it paid off, you know. I enjoy it. It's
I
working
bet.
out.
Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious that you
Yes.
enjoy it.
It's important to enjoy what you do, and I'm sure many of you have a small business that you enjoy, and hopefully you can continue your education and complement what you already know and love. Because again, we don't know what we don't know, and we have to kind of get out there and spread our wings sometimes. It's important.
Absolutely. Well, you know, Mark was with us at an intensive that we did from Nouveau Riche on Maui, and I know everyone just thought you were amazing. Everybody and the thing about this wonderful gentleman here is that he makes all this understandable to the layperson. Because I am a lay type person on those levels. I mean, you want to talk to me about other things, I can go there, but this was all new to me, and you made it so understandable. How did you get that talent? I mean,
that's nice of you to ask. I don't know. I just, I guess what bothers me sometimes is when people talk too intellectual or talk down to me, and so since that's a pet peeve of mine, I work hard to make sure I speak in common layman terms, you know, for average people, and hopefully it pays off in a great way. You know, one example of this would be and many of you in your small business often wonder what is tax deductible in my business? Where's the list? Is there a list out there? And if you ask a number of accountants that, you might get a variety of answers that can be confusing. Well, the way I like to answer it is anything, and this is how the IRS defines it, is anything related to the production of income. IRS Code Section 62, you know, just anything that you're going to need to spend to make money is a tax deduction. So what I encourage clients is keep track of everything, whether it's meals and entertainment, home office, paying the kids, PDAs, laptops, cell phones, whatever it is, keep track of it. Make sure you keep good records as best you can in your small business for your accounting. And then at the end of the year, when you meet with your accountant, then you can whittle off what might be too aggressive or which maybe is not justified. But keep track of everything. It's a simple thing. It makes sense. And a lot of people find just little comments like that very refreshing. So keep track of your expenses, meet with your accountant at the end of the year, and I'm sure you'll find some great loopholes and tax deductions that are legitimate and honest and fair, but a lot of accountants may not think of them. So that's why, again, continuing your education and keeping track of things is very important.
keeping track of things, right? Mark highly encourages us not to come with shoe boxes
Yes.
full of receipts.
Have a system, yes, have a system. Very good.
Yeah, I got that one. I still have the shoebox.
No.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Thanks to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks to you. So, you know, Mark, I always wondered because to me, you are so brilliant. You are. And yet you manage to hold a very even keel with everybody. I have watched you in class, and from people that don't have any knowledge at all to people who have lots of knowledge. By the way, Mark also teaches continuing education for accountants and lawyers. Is that correct?
Yes, many of you, if you come to my classes, you'll get continuing education credit. These are serious classes.
Very serious. We learn a lot.
Fun, but serious.
However, we also laugh a lot.
Yes, it's good.
But how do you manage to do that? How do you manage to hold such an even keel with everybody? I mean, I would think that you would listen, because you listen to these same questions over and over again, and yet you're always so there with each person.
Oh, well.
I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I think maybe I'm just trying to follow the spiritual teaching of do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And if you ask someone a question, you'd want to be treated with respect and hope that someone would relate with you and keep it at your level. And so I try to make that my goal is that no question's a dumb question, and people should not be insulted with their answer that they receive. So I don't know, I've been able to have a wonderful life of experiences. I lived in Hawaii, I've lived in New York, Bermuda, I've lived in several of the western states, out in all over the parts of the East Coast. And when you have a chance to live in other cultures and other places, you learn to relate to people a little bit more, I hope.
It's true.
And so, it's a big world out there. And the world doesn't revolve around Hawaii, and the world doesn't revolve around the mainland of the United States. It revolves around a lot of places. And so a lot of people with different experiences, and it's good to be patient with others and understanding.
Well, you certainly are.
Oh,
and
thanks.
I really appreciate that. I always marvel at you.
Oh, thank you.
Because I've taken your class lots of times now.
Well, I hope you learn something new every time.
I do. Each time I take it, I go, oh, I got that now.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you. And, one of the things that we have learned from all of our students at college and being part of Mark's class is that there are a lot of, and this is not to put any of you lawyers and accountants down, but there are a lot of lawyers and accountants that don't really know the specialization of real estate investors.
Oh, that's a great comment. I think many of the lawyers and accountants and financial planners and professionals listening, the good ones realize that it's important to stay in your area of expertise. I'm a lawyer, but I certainly don't want to write anybody a nasty letter because I'm terrible with understanding the court process, divorce law, and any sort of litigation of any sort, bankruptcy. I don't practice in those areas. And I wish more attorneys would try not to do a little of everything and just do one area and do it well. You'd be amazed at how many people would flock to you to be a part of what you specialize in. And I know it's a leap of faith. And that's one thing I did. I live in a small town, and I said I'm going to focus on business law for the small business owner in the real estate industry and anything that's related to it. And when I did that, I found out a lot of people found it very refreshing. And I have clients all over the country that want to talk about that. But if I was a general practitioner lawyer, you end up like shooting from the hip in all sorts of areas. And be careful of those types of advisors if you have that sort of need. Be careful to go to one lawyer that does everything. Find a lawyer that specializes in the area you need and interview until you find the right one. Be careful out there. It's a jungle.
It is a jungle. And this is not a commercial. However, Mark does have a company that is available to help people.
Oh, you're so nice. Again, if you like a copy of my book, Lawyers Are Liars, The Truth About Protecting Our Assets, again, not an accusation, a discussion. If you'd like a copy of my book or links to all of the information about me and my law firm and accounting firm and how to find the right advisor for you, please go to lawyersareliars.com. It's a great starting point, lawyersareliars.com. And there's links to me, my personal website, my law firm, accounting firm, and we'll make sure that you get the information you need if you contact me.
Well, everyone that I have given this book to has absolutely loved it.
You are so kind.
No, seriously, my daughter is a doctor.
Oh,
and
So you said your dog.
she just loved this book, and she had been to an intensive where you spoke. And she loved you, of course, as everyone does.
You're so nice.
No, it's true. And she said to me, oh my goodness, she said, this is amazing. This man wrote this book. She said, I can hear him talking.
That is so good. Well, thank you so much.
Hey, I got that message. You're great. I think I'm going to let you pop back in here, Jason.
Well, you can stay if you want also.
Oh, well,
You know,
thank you.
I You know, it's like when I'm sitting here with Mark, I keep thinking, oh, I want to bring up about medical savings accounts. I mean, I've learned so much. I mean, there's so much that you've taught us. It's really been life-changing. And I know that you've really only scratched the surface, which is really a pleasure.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate being on your show. I hope I can be back again and
sure.
come back to Maui and be on the radio show. And these people will not steer you in the wrong direction. It's an honor to be here with them. And please keep in tune with what they're doing, because I certainly am. And hopefully we'll ride their coattails to all the great things they're doing.
How did people find you? I think I remember a story that Curtis DeYoung, is that what it was?
Well,
Curtis DeYoung is the owner of a company called American Pension Services, which is an administrator of self-directed retirement plans.
Yeah.
And he saw you teaching continuing education and said, wow, who's this guy? Is that true?
Yeah. Curtis DeYoung and I bumped into each other, and then he introduced me to Jim Piccolo, the owner and founder of Nouveau Riche, and Bob Snyder, his partner, came out to look at one of my presentations, and they thought, hey, this guy might be a good fit for us in the tax and legal area. And I actually wasn't too interested at first. I was a little concerned. What is this Nouveau Riche thing? And I blew him off for 4 or 5 months. And finally, Curtis DeYoung contacted me and said, Mark, this is for real. These guys are not a fly-by-night company, and they're certainly trying to do the right thing for people. So I came out to Phoenix and looked at it and was sold on day one. And it was just an honor to be here with the Nouveau Riche community, and it's now 4 or 5 years later, and my life's been changed. I know that it's changed your lives.
Absolutely. Totally for the positive. You know, and as Mark said, Jim Piccolo and Bob Snyder are incredible beings, and the school that they have formed, to me, is amazing, because they have teachers such as Mark, who they are not the gurus that you see on television that just say, do this, do this. These are people that are out in the world doing what they're teaching. And they are each millionaires in their own right. They all have investments. They're not just telling you what to do with yours, and I find that to be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, they're genuine. There's a word that comes to my mind is genuine. Yep.
Very genuine. And I really thank you so much for doing that, because I understand that you're doing it to give back. I understand, and I thank you and our other teachers very much, because I know it takes time out of your life and your work and what you do. So thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we love having you.
When are you coming back to Maui?
I'm not sure. It'll probably be later this summer. So probably July or August of 2008. So in the next 4 or 5 months, hopefully.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hey, we'll let you know when he's coming. And please come and listen to this man, because he will open your eyes and your ears and your heart all at the same time, and even dance for you.
I'll try. It's not pretty, trust me.
Oh, that's not true, actually. It's really very funny. I mean, you have just made it so comfortable to learn. I mean, to sit for that many hours, you know. You wouldn't think, I've had people say to me, you know, I don't really know how I can stay in one place for so many hours. And yet, you know, the day ends, it's like, I wish I could have more of this.
That's right.
It's almost like entertainment. You know, there's this word edutainment. I guess that's what we call it.
Edutainment. I like
Oh,
that.
I like that.
Right.
Say it again.
It's education and entertainment. Edutainment.
Edutainment.
Yeah.
I like
That's what you are. You're edutainment.
I never heard that. Thank you. That sounds
The
good.
new word.
Now, we know that this is, you know, a little bit unusual. You're seeing it. This is
Jason's
actually
on the
where
floor.
Mark had a group here today. Today was what? Tax strategies.
It was tax strategies. This was the classroom we taught in, and you'll see hundreds of seats here behind us. And
That's pretty unusual to do. Usually we're surrounded by leaves and flowers, and today we're surrounded by chairs.
Not only that, when Mark Kohler's around, it's hard to get close because I was going to say groupies, but I mean, this really is a treat to have a few minutes because there are always people lined up around you, and well deserved.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
But we'll try to show you all the chairs in this room, and what I want you to know is that each one of them was filled today, all day,
With smiling faces?
with smiling, laughing faces, getting education from you, Mark.
That's true.
And people, his classes close out. They're like the first ones to close. They fill up. Everybody wants to be with you.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a truly amazing experience. I highly recommend to you
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
that you
Take a
read
look.
this book. Get it, read it.
Different
You-
than Abby Hoffman, who said, steal
Yeah.
this book. This is not to steal this book.
You will find so much valuable information in here to help you, no matter what level of business you are operating on.
Well, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I really encourage everybody.
Well, and it's
to
just
read
a
this.
start. It's on the asset side, but we're going to have more books. It's a part of a series on taxes and Wall Street and secrets and lies and scams that are out there. I hope to really be a consumer
Yay.
advocate and protect many of you from the scary things that are out there. So look for book number 2 and 3.
When are they coming?
Well, hopefully next year, this time, we'll already have the tax book out. That's my goal, and we'll work on taxes next and kind of go from there.
Oh, sounds
I
great.
must tell you, though, as much as reading the book is good, there's also something about this community that is really worth being. The people that are here at this
That's
community
true.
have, I don't know, if they have a sort of a pay it forward attitude, and they're all working and helping each other to improve the quality of their own lives and the lives of others. It has really been a continually building experience. Now I guess we've been involved almost a couple of years, and the more I know all of you, the more I like you. It's just been really that kind of an experience.
Yeah.
It's true. It just gets better and better.
Yeah.
And like I said, every time I take your class, it's even better.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
How about that? We like repeating classes.
That's true.
Isn't it fun?
It's
It's
true.
good to keep learning.
Mm-hmm.
And I know one thing, this lawyer ain't no liar.
Thank you. There you go.
That's a good
I'm
one,
trying,
too.
yes.
Well, we're so grateful that you joined us here today and gave our beautiful people of Hawaii an opportunity to find out who you are, even if it's just a little tiny piece of you, which is all you're getting. There is just so much more.
Well, aloha, and thanks for having me here. Hope to see you in person soon this year, and we'll be back.
We sure will. Thank you all for
will.
joining us today. We hope that you'll come and visit us again, and have a great day.
And we hope this has been enlightening for you and that you will check this out and get even more enlightened about it. So thank you again. We love you.
Thank you so much.
We do. We just love him. He's great.
Thank you.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 There is sunshine in your heart. It's been with you from the start. Lift your head, look to the heavens. Then you will so stylish.